Thank you for coming to our 2019 National Honor Induction Ceremony. I'm really glad to have you here. It's my pleasure to work with your children, and I really appreciate all of their hard work. I want to make sure I thank, before we get started, all of our people that came today, and many of them were just at homecoming a few nights ago. I saw them there too, so we get a lot of support from our admin. I want to thank Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Bontier, Mr. Small, Ms. Miller. Thank Dr. Marcus for coming, Ms. Gropey for coming, and all of our parents for taking the time on this rainy night. Really appreciate you coming out. We'll try to get them home so they can do their homework. I'm sure they all have it. If I get up, it's because I'm doing the lights also, so bear with me tonight. I want to make sure before we get started that I give a lot of thanks to our officers, Victoria Silverman, Rebecca Lally, Brittany Paul, Beyonce, and Emma. And yeah. This is truly a club that's run by the officers, student-led, because I need their help a lot. And I want to thank Ms. Kelly, who I know is in the audience, who really helped get National Honor Society going when she handed it off to me a couple years ago. And all the work you did is still actually helping, so I appreciate that. And without further ado, I want to ask our president to come up, and that is Ms. Emma McSweeney.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag's right here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for Alexia Thomas.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Sandra Gropey to the podium, and she's our school committee chairperson.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I am honored to be given the opportunity to speak at this wonderful occasion. The school committee would like to congratulate each of you and your families on this remarkable achievement. You have earned the privilege to be part of the National Honor Society. An honor like this is a wonderful way for the school and community to recognize and celebrate the choices and sometimes sacrifices you have made to get here. As you proudly celebrate the induction and honor, remember all the hard work and character that it took, but realize many people helped you get on this stage tonight, most notably your families. Did you know that you joined celebrities like Cindy Crawford, Carrie Underwood, Meryl Streep, Tina Fey, Jon Stewart, Cal Ripken Jr., Michelle Obama, and many others into this prestigious group. And that's pretty cool. The characteristics that they portrayed throughout their academic careers shaped them into what they are today, and it shows that you too have the potential to do great things. In conclusion, to you, National Honor Society inductees and current members as you finish your high school career, I challenge you. I challenge you to set goals and don't be afraid to fail. Stay true to yourself and your beliefs. Be passionate, but don't take yourself too seriously. And to quote another NHS member by the name of Taylor Swift, make the most of now before it all changes, because one day, right now is going to be a memory. Congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck.
Now your superintendent, Dr. John Marcus.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. In thinking about what being inducted into the National Honor Society means to me, I reflected back on my own high school experience. I was an okay student. I worked hard, paid attention, and did pretty well in school, but I spent more time watching the Carol Burnett Show and building model rockets than I did studying. Reading had always been a struggle for me ever since kindergarten, so attacking books and literature was something that I avoided. In my sophomore year, something really important happened that would make a dramatic shift in how I approached academics and also gave me an avenue to pursue my interest in helping other people. My best friend, Jay, got inducted into the National Honor Society. And while we were BFFs, academics was something Jay did with aplomb, me, not so much. When I went to Jay's NHS induction, I sat in the audience and I saw him and many of my friends, and I heard them speak with such eloquence and passion about learning, how important it was to them and to their families. And then I heard about how NHS was also based on a commitment to community service. I heard about the projects that my friends were taking on and the great things that they were doing around town. I was hooked. And not because I wanted the note on my college application, but because I truly admired those people on stage, and I knew that I had the drive and the will to work harder than I was, to push myself and achieve the goal of being up on that stage too. It took another year. It took getting more advice from my teachers and my parents. It took a lot of hard work. But that next year, I made it to the stage. And for the next couple of years, I kept pushing myself academically, led lots of community service projects, and loved our NHS meetings. So today, this induction ceremony is just the beginning. Promise me. As Mrs. Gropey said, the honor is well-deserved and we are so proud of you, but take this opportunity of being part of an elite group at Stoughton High. Keep working hard, keep giving back, enjoy your time with the NHS group and your friends, and then on graduation day, wear those tassels with pride, knowing that you have truly made our community a better place. Congratulations, NHS class of 2019.
The first thing our next speaker says to me anytime we have an occasion like this is, "What can I do for you?" And I really appreciate that. Your principal, Miss Miller.
Good evening. This is always one of my favorite nights to be principal of Stoughton High School. It is a privilege to participate in this ceremony each year. Tonight, the school bestows one of the highest all-around honors upon you, the inductees. The National Honor Society has been recognizing outstanding student achievement since 1921. Being a member of National Honor Society is a distinction that holds a significance throughout your life, academic life, and beyond. As I look at the current members and in the inductees, I'm reminded of the purpose of the National Honor Society: to create enthusiasm for scholarship, to stimulate a desire to render service, to promote leadership, to develop character in the students. Each of you have given countless hours of service, held leadership positions at school, in sports, or through other organizations. Most impressive of all, you do all of this while shouldering a full load of classes and maintaining the highest academic performance. Stoughton High School's mission is to foster the development of responsible citizens who value high academic expectations, diversity, and excellence. It is clear that each of you is a model of our mission. Tonight, like Ms. Gropey said, you become members of a community of distinct honor. You are in the company of previous scholars who have graduated and gone off to become astronauts, authors, U.S. senators and representatives, actors, Rhodes Scholars, doctors, lawyers, educators, Olympians, presidents, pro athletes, Nobel Prize winners. The list is endless. You are in the company of famous individuals such as Alan Alda, pro football player Troy Aikman, former Secretary of Defense William Cohen, Katie Couric, Garfield creator Jim Davis, former President Gerald Ford. You are also in the good company of Stoughton's one and only Mr. Jeffrey Pickett. And although Jeffrey could not be here this evening, I do want to make mention of him. He is a member of the Stoughton High School National Honor Society. Mr. Pickett graduated in 2006 and imparted the following words of wisdom on his graduating class as his yearbook quote: "If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door." We've been lucky to have Mr. Pickett work closely with the school and the town of Stoughton through SMAC, but very soon he will be leaving us for another opportunity. And I'd like to take just a moment to recognize him for all he has done and contributed to this town. And to the National Honor Society inductees and current members, take Mr. Pickett's words to heart and build your own doors. I'm eager to see what amazing and fantastic accomplishments each of you will have, especially when considering what you have already accomplished thus far. Thank you for your contributions to the school community, and congratulations on your induction into the Stoughton High School chapter of the National Honor Society.
And now Stoughton High School's own, our keynote address speaker, Ms. Ingrao.
Thank you, Mr. Frontina, for the introduction. When I received an email last week asking if I would like to speak at tonight's induction ceremony, I felt a deep sense of honor. So thank you, Emma, and the National Honor Society board members for including me in tonight's celebration. At some point last week, when I had no idea what I was going to talk about, I was listening to a radio interview with a comedian who I love, and they talked a bit about the hashtag cancel culture that exists today. Someone, usually a celebrity, does something that someone else thinks is messed up, and all of a sudden they're hashtag canceled. They talked about the danger in marginalizing those who make mistakes in a society that's too quick to judge. As they spoke, I started thinking about an article I had read almost 10 years ago, where a Harvard professor, Dr. Peter Gibbon, essentially argued that we've started to define our historical figures by their flaws and less by their achievements. While researching for his book, he traveled the country talking with students about the concept of heroism and looking to historical figures for role models. The term canceled culture didn't exist at that point, but he was talking about something very similar. Once upon our history, we idolized soldiers and statesmen as heroes, and along the way, they were replaced by humanitarians and reformers. And more recently, as he talked with students post 9/11, they often referred to first responders as heroes. More often, they referred to people in their own lives, parents, grandparents, teachers, and to nobody's surprise, athletes and celebrities. Rarely did he find that teenagers were identifying men or women from history. Most of my colleagues would not be surprised at all by that. Our students, even many of you, want to cut to the chase. What do we gotta know, right? Is this person good or bad? And of course, it's hardly that simple. What is good? And if the answer, well, I should say and if the answer implies perfection, then the answer is probably that they're bad. But why do we want perfection from our historical figures? We don't expect perfection from each other, from our parents or grandparents, and certainly not celebrities. In literature and in television and film, we actually want our heroes to be flawed. They're more interesting that way, more relatable, more human. It's why we cried when Professor Snape dies. It's why we root for Tyrion Lannister. It's why Shakespeare's plays have transcended his time. His characters are complicated, their motives complex. He exposes the humanity of kings and explores the prejudice of the masses. But when it comes to historical figures, we either put them on pedestals, literally, or we cast them aside, #canceled. And more than ever, we're canceling the very people that earlier generations praised. Please don't get me wrong. We should look at our historical figures through a critical lens. Statues of Nathan Bedford Forrest have no place in a public park. Why did we name schools after Robert E. Lee? Is Christopher Columbus worthy of a national holiday? When we move beyond our personal heroes to those that occupy our public spaces or the bold print in our textbooks, it's natural to wonder whether they are worthy of these distinctions. We should have conversations about the people we choose to represent us on our currency, in statues, on public buildings, and on street signs. Those conversations are not only healthy, but essential to our democracy as we continue to reconcile our past with our present and our mistakes with our ideals. In fact, that's exactly why I think it's so important for you to identify your historical heroes. If not Columbus, who? If not Robert E. Lee, who? There's so many people to be admired, people who, while perhaps not perfect, are heroic. There's also power in identifying your heroes, not because they're perfect, but because they're familiar. They suffer, they have doubts, they fail too. As all of this is jogging through my mind, I return to that article from Dr. Gibbon that I read all those years ago and like to share a bit of it with you tonight. He writes, "Heroes are fascinating and puzzling. What made Abraham Lincoln rise from poverty and obscurity to become wise, cunning, and a compassionate president? After Southerners offered $40,000 for Harriet Tubman's capture, why did she repeatedly return to Maryland to rescue slaves she didn't know? Why did the villagers of Le Chambon risk their lives to hide Jews from the Germans? Heroes make us interested in the mystery of bravery and the mystery of goodness. Heroes instruct us in greatness. When Nelson Mandela leaves his South African cell without rancor and invites his guards to his inauguration, we are instructed in magnanimity. When Mother Teresa leaves her comfortable convent school and moves to Calcutta, we learn about compassion. Heroes triumph, but also fail. Before the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant was an alcoholic. William Sherman chronically depressed. It took years for Pierre and Marie Curie to separate radium from pitchblende, months before Anne Sullivan could communicate with Helen Keller. John F. Kennedy was moved by the courage of John Quincy Adams. For guidance, Martin Luther King Jr. looked to Gandhi. Gandhi looked to Tolstoy. Tolstoy read Thoreau. In all serious endeavors, we depend on exemplary lives and link ourselves to loftiness. We are fortified by examples of resolution and high achievement and bravery." So there's this great line in the HBO John Adams series where he's defending the British soldiers at the Boston Massacre trial, and he asked the jury to disregard their uniforms and consider them men. I'd encourage you to take our historical figures off their pedestals and consider them men and women. Are you willing to reconcile their actions with their inactions, their pragmatism with your idealism, the values of their time with the values of our own? If you can, that's wonderful. If you can't, that's okay too. But I'd like to end my speech tonight by encouraging you to reflect on those you've already studied. Reconsider someone you may have dismissed. Read a biography. Find inspiration in those you have not yet discovered. Thank you for including me tonight, and congratulations to all the inductees.
Thank you, Ms. Ingrea. The next part of our program is pretty much a tradition. We're going to walk through the 4 pillars of NHS, and then we're going to go through our induction. And for those pillars, we're going to call up our officers, Beyonce, Rebecca, Victoria, and Brittany.
NHS students uphold principles of morality and ethics. They are cooperative, demonstrate high standards of honesty and reliability, show courtesy, concern, and have respect for others.
Scholarship. NHS students have and will maintain a cumulative grade point average of a 3.7 or higher.
Leadership. NHS students are leaders who are resourceful, good problem solvers, promoters of school activities, idea contributors, dependable, and persons who exemplify positive attitudes about life.
Service. NHS students voluntarily contribute to his or her school and community, done without compensation and with a positive, courteous, and enthusiastic spirit.
I can't stress enough the work that these young ladies have done between making spreadsheets to making deposits to reserving rooms to communicating with our guidance staff about tutoring. It's organizing where people are sitting right now so that they can read the names of the inductees. It's a lot of work, and it's my absolute pleasure to work with these young ladies. They really teach me a lot. I also didn't mention earlier that Mr. Evans is joining me this year as a co-advisor for National Honor Society. It seems like he was there last year because he's one of my go-tos. I always go to him with any questions that I have, and I really appreciate all of his help. For this last part, the meat of this sandwich, we are going to call up our inductees, and our current members are going to be reading their bios, which they wrote, they themselves wrote. When they do so, we ask, and this is again tradition, that the teacher that's here as their inspirational teacher could stand when their student's bio is being read, just so that we can see you, and we're also kind of recognizing you a little bit too for all you've done for them. All right. Let's see if I can do this.
Deepak Keller is a diligent member of DECA and is an officer of competitive events in the upcoming year. Deepak is also a dedicated cross-country and track runner. Other than running, he loves music and is a member of both the marching band and jazz band, playing the saxophone. Deepak has chosen to recognize and honor his 6th grade science teacher, Miss Lyman, as she taught him how to love science and push his academic faculties. He is very grateful for all the things she has taught him. Deepak Keller.
Rena Alley is a dedicated and hardworking member of Student Council, serving as a representative for the class of 2021 since freshman year. She has always been involved in our church's annual food drive and other service activities, like Christmas in the City and the South School Pumpkin Patch. As a junior, Rena is a goalie for the girls' field hockey team and will be captain of the girls' tennis team this spring. Given her interest in marketing and planning, Rena hopes to pursue a career in event planning and even hopes to have her own firm. Lena decided to honor a 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Slagan, because Mrs. Slagan always encouraged Lena to be the best person she could be, and always believed that she is capable of great things. Lena.
Nicole Anderson has been a part of the girls' soccer program playing varsity since her freshman year. She's also been a part of the girls' ice hockey team since her freshman year. For the past 2 years, Nicole has volunteered with the Stoughton Catholic Youth Food Drive. Also, she has taken part in multiple runs for charity. In the past, Nicole was a referee for Stoughton Youth Soccer, but is now currently working at Amelia's in Stoughton as a hostess, and has been there for a little over 2 years. Nicole is hoping to become more involved in her community before she graduates. Due to her love of physical activity, Nicole wants to pursue a career in physical therapy, working with recovering athletes. Nicole has chosen to honor her kindergarten teacher, Mrs. K. Mrs. K has made her first year of school fun and gave Nicole a positive outlook of the future years of school. After kindergarten, Nicole will still go back to see Mrs. K, oftentimes helping her out in her classroom. Nicole has always felt welcome to visit. Nicole Anderson.
Dorianne Anglade is a new and dedicated member of the Stoughton Leadership Institute and will soon serve as an 8th grader's mentor. Due to her love of science, Dorian hopes to pursue a career in the medical field and hopes to become a dermatologist. Dorian has chosen to honor her 11th grade teacher, Mr. Schul, because Mr. Schul built up Dorian's confidence and encouraged her to pursue her dream. Dorian Angley.
Michael Stoughton is a senior at Stoughton High School. He's a second-year DECA member and attended the regional and state conference last year. Michael is the treasurer of the Stoughton chapter of the National Business Honor Society. He's also on the track team during the winter and spring seasons. Michael is an avid member of Science Olympiad, Art Club, and works at Wegmans throughout the week. After high school, he plans to pursue a career in either finances and accounting or computer sciences. Michael has chosen to honor his calculus and computer science teacher, Mr. Kelly. Because Mr. Kelly helped Michael realize his interest in problem solving, math, and computers. Michael Soon.
Nicole Baker is a two-time varsity starter on softball. Since she's a pitcher, she gives pitching lessons to little girls to help them strive and get better as a pitcher. She also plays club softball year-round. She hopes to pursue a career in physical therapy and hopes to play softball in college too. Nicole has chosen to honor her first grade teacher, Miss Rake, because she has driven her to be a better student and was always there to put a smile on her face and be there to help her out. Nicole Baker.
Amelia Brazil is an active member of the Stoughton community. She serves as a student council representative for the class of 2021. Since freshman year, she has participated in field hockey as well as winter and spring track. In her free time, Amelia volunteers at elementary schools because she enjoys working with children. Because of this, Amelia hopes to pursue a career as a child psychologist. Tonight, Amelia has chosen to honor her 3rd and 4th grade teacher, Miss Carroll, because Miss Carroll taught her to enjoy learning. Amelia Brazil.
Jordan Brewster is a proud member of Christian Scholars, where she works to promote and improve the academic success of minority students at Stoughton High School. Jordan's other avenue of being a student advocate and demonstrating passion for her community is through her service as a student representative on the SHS School Council and her membership in the Peer Leadership Program. Jordan has also been a member of the Calculus Project Leadership Academy since 8th grade, which has strengthened her mathematical skills and sparked her interest in the STEM fields. Her participation in the Science Olympiad and math teams allows her to further develop her interest. In the fall of 2021, Jordan plans to enter college as a pre-med major and desires to work in the field of medicine, specifically as a surgeon. Jordan has chosen to honor her 6th grade teacher, Mr. Wyman, whose love for teaching inspired her to find a passion of her own and pursue it to the fullest. Jordan Brewster.
Brooke Bulger serves as a peer mediator for SHS and was recently named one of 3 Stoughton High School student ambassadors to the MIAA. Brooke enjoys volunteering in the Children's Department at the Stoughton Public Library and looks forward to serving as captain for the varsity tennis team this spring. With plans to study criminal justice, Brooke hopes to pursue a career in the field of criminal psychology. Tonight, Brooke has chosen to honor Mr. Pruden, her 8th grade algebra teacher. Mr. Pruden challenged Brooke in the classroom and encouraged her to have the confidence to conquer any problem she may face. Brooke Bulger.
Megan Campbell is a passionate performer who has been involved in the performing arts for her entire high school career. She's a member of the SHS Drama Club and has participated in every single production since her freshman year, whether it be on stage or helping to paint the sets. She also performs on the musical theater competition team at Starline Academy. Besides her interests in music and theater, Megan has been involved in Girl Scouts and is currently helping to lead a Browning troupe of 3rd grade girls. Megan hopes in the future to pursue an acting career on Broadway or a career in illustration or writing. Megan has chosen to honor her elementary school music teacher, Mrs. Campanellis, because Mrs. Campanellis has always supported Megan and taken her dreams seriously. She has helped Megan have confidence in her singing and helped her channel her energy and differences into making Megan a better performer in person. Megan Campbell.
Madeline Barr is a proud student of Stoughton High School's music department. She is a uniform manager for the band and head crew in the drama department. Besides music, Madeline also participates in NAP team, is a class of 2021 representative on the student council, and is on the SHS team. Outside of school, she enjoys repping soccer and coaching lacrosse. In the future, Madeline hopes to attend a pre-med program in college and to go into the medical field eventually. For her teacher honoree, she chose Mr. Whiting because he instilled a desire to learn and a work ethic that has pushed her to do better ever since. Madeline Clark.
Molly Chang is a runner on the varsity track and cross country team and has loved playing the piano since the 2nd grade. She spends her weekends working and helping her family's martial arts school. In the past, she's volunteered as a junior soccer coach for children with special needs and directed her piano school social media pages. Molly has chosen to honor her 8th grade English teacher, Ms. Rondo, as she helped Molly to realize her appreciation for writing. In the future, Molly is leaning towards the writing, film, or mathematics professions, where she can constantly learn and help others. Molly Chang.
Brady Conlon is a student in the class of 2021. Brady is a dedicated member of the football, basketball, and baseball team at Stoughton High School. He takes pride in his schoolwork as well as his weekend job at Kelly's Place in Canada. Brady has always shown an interest in helping others in education. He hopes to pursue a career in teaching after he finishes college. Brady chose his 8th grade teacher, Ms. Rondo, as a sponsor because she is someone who pushed him to become the best student he could be and always believed in his abilities, even when they did not meet eye to eye. Brady always respected and valued her guidance. Brady Conlon.
Haley Cook is a dedicated student and former athlete. Haley is a proud member of DICA. Haley volunteers her time coaching a Stoya cheer team. When not cheering, she spends her time working at Thomas Pizza. Due to her love of children and helping young kids, Haley hopes to pursue a career in elementary teaching someday. Haley has chosen to honor her 8th grade math teacher, Ms. Hogan. Ms. Hogan pushed Haley to try harder in school and try everything when it seems out of reach. Haley Cook.
Teresa Dow is a member of the National Art Honor Society and peer leadership. Due to her love of various types of art, Teresa hopes to pursue graphic design and be able to publish her own artwork someday. Teresa has chosen to honor her 6th grade history teacher, Miss Daly, because Miss Daly built up Teresa's confidence of being able to discover more historical artwork and creating her own artwork for others to see. Teresa Dow.
Randall Straub devotes a large portion of his time to the music department. This year is his 3rd year as part of the Stoughton Marching Back Knights and his 1st year as section leader. He is also part of other music groups such as Jazz Band, Jazz Choir, Symphonic Choir, and Symphonic Band. He is a dedicated student and is part of all honors classes with high grades. In his future, he hopes to create a wonderful structure with a civil engineer. Randall has chosen to honor his 8th grade teacher, Ms. Rondo. Without her help and strong lessons, he would not have made it academically this far. Randall Straub.
Rosemary Florstaff is passionate about music, the arts, and neuroscience. Rosemary is a bass player in the marching band and the symphonic band. For her future, she's interested in joining a symphony orchestra, become a published author, and practicing her artistic skills. Rosemary hopes to pursue a career in child psychology and contribute research to the field. Rosemary chose to honor her calculus teacher, Mr. Donovan, because Mr. Donovan supported her unconditionally in both his class and in preparing her for the future. Rosemary Florstaff.
Beth Foley is a 4-year member of the math team who has always enjoyed games and hobbies club. She has volunteered at both Stoughton and Canton libraries. Beth has chosen to honor Mr. Pruden, her grade 8 math teacher, because he always encouraged her to do her best. Beth would like to study biology in college and go into the field of forensics. Beth Foley.
Kate Francis is a new and dedicated member of HOSA, trying out new things in the medical field. Kate has helped young cheerleaders in the Stoughton community over the past couple of years and continues to help them this year and in the future. Kate has also assisted with various events in the local elementary schools and their young students. In addition, Kate has volunteered at multiple events at a nearby nursing home. Due to her love and interest in the medical field, Kate hopes to become a surgeon one day. Kate has chosen to honor her kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Manchester, because Mrs. Manchester helped Kate become more open to meeting people and welcoming new opportunities. Kate Francis.
Samara is a hardworking and dedicated captain of the junior varsity volleyball team of Stoughton High School, serving as a leader and companion for those in need of guidance. Samara is a member of peer leadership and looks forward to volunteering and helping others in order to give back to the community. Samara will be practicing for the SAT she plans to take in December and will continue to play volleyball off-season in order to improve her skills. Due to her fascination with psychology and sociology, Samara hopes to pursue a career in the medical field in order to become a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist and write books as a hobby someday. Samara has chosen her 7th grade and 8th grade teacher, Ms. Borazian, because Ms. Borazian saw Samara's potential and work ethic and helped develop Samara's confidence in order for her to pursue her dreams in the near future. Samara Galette.
Roy Glick has participated in track and field's math team and plans to join even more activities this year. Roy has coached soccer in the Top Soccer Magic program for the past 5 years. Due to his love of math and the arts, Roy hopes to pursue a career in architecture and design. Roy has chosen to honor his 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Murphy, because Mrs. Murphy encouraged Roy to put his heart into his actions and build enough confidence in himself to feel proud of what he does. Roy Glick.
Gabriella Gomes is an independent, hardworking individual. She has student upperclassmen, helped teach basketball, and is a member of the Fruition Scholars. She is also a mentor for her younger cousins. Gabriella looks after her 3-year-old cousin and takes her to the park. For her 10-year-old cousin, she provides drawing and painting tips along with helpful advice for school. Through all of her experiences, Gabriella was motivated to become someone who can help others. She hopes to become a psychotherapist and continue to guide those to a brighter path. Gabriella has chosen to honor her 7th grade English teacher, Miss Whitaker, because Miss Whitaker pushed her to be an open-minded individual and supported her when she needed it. Gabriella Gomes.
Jonah Hodgeberg is a dedicated and humorous student and year-round high school athlete. Over the past few years, Jonah has spent many Sunday afternoons volunteering at Top Soccer Magic, a program for athletes with disabilities. This summer, while abroad in Israel and at summer camp in New Hampshire, Jonah spent many hours performing acts of community service, such as helping out hospitals and participating in community themes. Jonah enjoys trying to help alleviate other people's pain and hopes to one day pursue a career in chiropractic. Jonah has chosen to honor Mrs. Ann Shute, the school and adjustment counselor from the South School. His time with Mrs. Shute, Jonah remembers learning the song Walk in Their Shoes, which taught him what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes. Jonah Hushberg.
Felicia Fu is a determined and hardworking student who never fails to exceed expectations. Felicia is an athlete in the SHS swim team and looks forward to contributing to the school community. Felicia teaches kids of all ages math and reading at a nearby learning center in Sharon each week. She is the treasurer of COSA this year. Due to her interest in science and math, she hopes to pursue a career in medicine and hopes to be a successful doctor herself someday. Felicia has chosen to honor her 7th and 8th grade French teacher, Miss Regis, because Miss Regis built up Felicia's self-confidence and pushed her to be more outgoing with her peers. Felicia.
Nikhil Code is in 11th grade, currently enrolled at SHS. He is a member of Student Council, serving as a representative for the class of 2021. Nikhil also is a DECA officer and has been in DECA since freshman year. Nikhil is on the math team and participates in science Olympiads. Nikhil takes part in marching band, cross country, swimming, and tennis. After school, Nikhil is a life scout and likes building trees. He likes to cook, pump iron at the YMCA, travel, eat, sleep, and play. Nikhil is a rad dude and tries to be, but sadly he does not currently know what he plans to do after high school. Nikhil has chosen to honor his 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Joy, because she has built the foundation in his work ethic while making his last year in elementary school special. Nikhil Combs.
Victoria member of the Stoughton High Music Department, serving as the clarinet section leader in marching band and playing in the symphonic band. She also has been heavily involved in the drama department, playing the role of Miss Brill in the fall musical. She serves on the executive board of student council as the community service coordinator and as a peer mediator. Commonly, Victoria can be seen volunteering at her church and at the middle school. Due to her love of reading and writing, Victoria hopes to pursue a career as a writer or an English teacher. She has chosen to honor her 6th grade English teacher, Mr. Whitey, because she has always encouraged her to do her best, edited her writing, and let her help this creative writing club. Victoria LaFar.
Catherine Love participates in both softball and volleyball for Stoughton High School. She stays active in the community by helping set up holiday parties for children and helping at church. She is a COSA and will be competing at this year's competition. She has joined COSA due to her desire to help people in the future. Catherine wants to pursue a career in pediatrics after high school so she can help as many kids as she can. She chose her 4th grade teacher, Miss Murphy, to honor Miss Murphy as someone who inspired her and pushed her to her limits and not letting anyone hold her back. Catherine Mill.
Sabrina Martins has assisted student council for the past 3 years by not only lending her artistic expertise, but also by having strong leadership skills. Because of these qualities, she was recently appointed artistic advisor of the class of 2021. This, along with being the vice president of peer leadership, only amplifies Sabrina's ambitious and hardworking nature by completing a copious amount of outside volunteer hours, constant fundraising for her class, and various community events. Sabrina has made it clear to everyone around her that she is a strong asset to the Stoughton community. Miss Regis allowed Sabrina to realize how education can be enjoyable and fun. Thus, Sabrina came to be more open to new educational opportunities. Sabrina Martins.
Joshua McNamara is a dedicated student who actively participates in athletics. Josh is a part of the cross-country, winter track, and lacrosse teams here at SHS. Outside of school activities, Josh works on his grandfather's farm. Due to his talent and joy in math, Josh is looking to pursue a career in architecture. Josh has chosen to honor his 5th grade teacher, Mr. Cancellator, because he gave Josh the social and academic confidence that he needed to be where he is today. Joshua McNamara.
Abby Maleka is a dedicated musician, playing trombone and jazz band, and is a drum major for the marching band. She is a co-president of DECA with a focus on business administration and management. Abby hopes to pursue a career in business management with the help of DECA. She is also an active member of drama and math team. Abby has chosen to honor her 6th grade science teacher, Ms. Lyden, because she inspired Abby to have a positive and hardworking attitude towards school and everything else she does. Abby Maleka. Aileen Moreau is a committed student who takes dance classes at her local dance academy every week and has been doing so for the last 4 years. This year, Aileen has been accepted and is participating in Stoughton High School's exclusive dance team. Aileen has always been fascinated with crime shows on television and wishes to pursue a career in forensic pathology. However, Aileen is also extremely drawn to dermatology and would love to explore both careers in a medical school setting. Aileen has chosen to honor her 6th grade English teacher, Mrs. Ford, from Pierce Middle School, because Mrs. Ford was always there for her to talk to and encourage her to follow her dreams and to better herself in any way possible. Aileen Moreau.
Haley Nelson is a committed, hardworking student involved in numerous clubs, sports, and academic achievements. She's a 3-season athlete playing field hockey, ice hockey, and track all since freshman year. Haley is a member of the Best Buddies Club as well as HOSA. Over the summer, Haley is a role model to younger children when she teaches kids under the age of 10 how to sail out of Keynote. She has been doing this for 5 years and plans on becoming a head instructor next year. During the school year, she is also a class representative who helps the class of 2021 organize events like the class breakfast and the basketball fundraising tournament. Haley plans on going into the medical field to further help people in need. Haley has chosen to honor Mrs. Joy, her 5th grade teacher at the Doll Elementary. From her, Haley learned leadership in both what it looks like and how to be a leader yourself. Haley Nelson.
Sabrina Nguyen is a hardworking performer in her 4th year of the Stoughton Marching Black Knights as section leader of the alto saxophone section. Her passion for music led to her involvement in the marching band, honors wind band, and jazz band. Sabrina expresses her love for math and science through math team and science Olympiad. She takes part in peer leadership, Stoughton Leadership Institute, and through it, she strives to make a difference in her community. In the future, Sabrina hopes to attend a four-year college and major in computer science, eventually becoming a video game developer. Sabrina has chosen to honor her fifth grade teacher, Miss Pyries, whose incredible knowledge and influence led to Sabrina's love and learning and motivated her to keep working hard in everything she does in life. Sabrina Newton. Amaka Wosu is dedicated to her responsibilities and exemplifies an amazing work ethic. Dedicated to peer leadership since her freshman year, she was recently appointed president. Along with that, she has been a class representative for 2 years and is now the class secretary. Amaka has also proved to be a great motivator for her fellow teammates in her 3 years of volleyball. Working 2 jobs to see her alone, Amaka demonstrates that she is not only an exceptional student, but also a hardworking adult. She also has volunteered countless hours to the fundraising for her class, blood drives, disability homes, and other in-school and community services. Because of her passion in helping other people, Amaka wishes to work in the field of science and medicine. She also wishes to help people through her voice and writing somehow. Amaka has chosen to honor her 6th grade English teacher, Mr. Whiting, as he has not only solidified and fine-tuned her writing capabilities, but also aided her along the journey of self-discovery and confidence. Mr. Whiting showed Amaka the true meaning of humanitarianism. Amaka Wilson.
Mariah Pardo is an active member of the Stoughton community. She participates in fall field hockey, cheerleading in the winter, and softball during the spring season. This school year, she is planning to participate in Buddies Club and the new HOSA Club at SHS. In her spare time, Mariah babysits since she loves working with children. Mariah's love for science is why she hopes to pursue a career as a pediatric nurse to help those who need it. Mariah has chosen to honor her 7th grade science teacher, Mrs. Crowley. Mrs. Crowley has taught Mariah to never give up and push her to believe in herself. Mariah Pardo.
Akash Patel is a committed member of DECA and has competed at the district and state level of competition. Akash is also a dedicated cross-country runner along with a devoted distance runner for the track team. His love for running has led him to volunteer at numerous trail races and track programs. Due to his love of science and engineering, Akash hopes to pursue a career in biomedical engineering. Akash has chosen to honor Miss Osborne, his tutor and mentor. She is the person who taught him that school doesn't always have to be boring and to work hard to achieve your dreams. Akash Patel.
Emily Pham Nguyen is a dedicated member of various clubs around the school, such as Student Council, A World of Difference, and Peer Leadership. She is the president of A World of Difference, as well as the JV volleyball captain for this past fall. Because of her love of science, she hopes to major in biology or chemistry. Emily has chosen to honor her 9th grade English teacher, Mrs. Jenna Kelly, because she built up Emily's confidence and has always been there to listen and help. Emily Pham.
Christiane Pierre exudes a positive energy in her school community. She constantly puts the well-being of others before her own, showing how selfless she is. Starting from freshman year, Christiane has been a determined class president, going above and beyond to actively represent the class of 2021 to the best of her abilities. She strives to take into account other people's opinions and makes everyone feel included. Along with this immense responsibility, Christiane manages making time to actively participate in several clubs and programs that are provided to the high school, such as Step Up to Excellence, Fruition, Peer Leadership, HOSA, and Peer Mediation. Additionally, she serves as a captain of the JV girls soccer team in boys softball. She takes on a course load of challenging classes at the AP and honors level, including 2 foreign languages, Spanish and French. Christiane is an active member in her school community, volunteering countless hours to make a difference. In the future, she strives to be successful and financially stable with a job that makes her happy. Christiane chose to honor Mrs. Regas, her French teacher at middle school, because of the positive attitude and determination which influences the person Christiane is trying to be today. Christiane Pierre.
Cameron Reiser is a dedicated member of Peer Mediation. He has also joined DECA this year and participated in Destination Imagination as a freshman. He has played on the Stoughton High basketball team for the past 2 years and intends to continue on through his high school career. Outside of school, Cameron participates in a team philanthropy program and over the past 2 years has raised over $2,200 to donate to organizations helping the environment and mental health awareness. He intends on furthering his academic career by attending college in the future. Cameron decided to honor his 8th grade math teacher, Miss Hogan, and would like to thank her for helping him become the student he is today. Cameron Reiser.
Brad Russo is a dedicated student involved in multiple sports and clubs. Brad is a cross-country and track runner, as well as a lacrosse player. Brad is one of the vice presidents of DECA. Brad coaches the lacrosse team at Stoughton Youth Lacrosse every year and coaches the football team at Stoughton. Due to his love of business, debating, and sports, Brad hopes to become a sports agent. Brad has chosen to honor his 6th grade science teacher, Mrs. Lighting, because Mrs. Lighting taught Brad so much science in the year that he had. But also, she taught Brad the importance of how to be organized. Brad Russo.
Aiden Shane is an active member and leader in many organizations at the Stoughton High School. He is Vice President of Membership and Service of our Stoughton DECA chapter and has been a member of the marching band for 3 years. Aiden is assistant coach of the Stoughton Youth Lacrosse 9 team. He also competes as a varsity swimmer. Aiden also plays on the lacrosse team. Aiden works as a lifeguard at the YMCA. Aiden hopes to pursue a career in the criminal justice system and become a lawyer. Aiden has chosen to honor his 6th grade teacher, Ms. Lyden, because she encourages him to have a great work ethic and always enjoy learning in her class. Aiden Shane.
Davin Swarzeski is a student athlete who participates in football, wrestling, and track. Davin also helps out his community by tutoring multiple kids in his grade and aiding them in learning. He enjoys coaching kids in the middle school track and field clinic at the O'Donnell Middle School. Davin works throughout the week at the local Town Spa Pizza restaurant as a busser. Since he enjoys nature, Davin is looking for a career in the scientific and engineering fields. Davin has decided to honor his 5th grade teacher, Mr. Cancellieri, who has helped him become the person he is today because of his kindness and confidence in Davin. Davin Swarzeski.
Stephanie Tadros is a dedicated member of DECA, serving as the Vice President of Public Relations and Communication. She also is the Community Service Outreach Chairperson for our new medical club, HOSA, this year. Outside of school, Stephanie is a devoted teacher of pre-K at her church and helps with church camps during the summer. Due to her overwhelming care for others, Stephanie hopes to pursue a career in nursing and hopes to become a registered nurse someday. Stephanie has chosen to honor her 5th grade teacher, Miss Banis, because Miss Banis has taught her to persevere through the hardest circumstances and built up her self-confidence. Stephanie Tadros.
At the very core of Lauren Turner's being is the desire to help and care for others. With this, she has dedicated much of her free time making a difference in and outside of her community in various ways. From mission trips to Corpus Christi, Texas, food drives at St. James Church, volunteering at Christmas in the City, to even helping set up Party All Night Long every year. Lauren also serves as a member of the field hockey and softball teams at SHS. She hopes to take her passion for others and turn it into a career somewhere in the healthcare industry where she hopes to work and care for children. Tonight, Lauren has chosen to honor her 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Murphy, who was able to show her how compassion and loving what you do can have an everlasting effect on the people around you. Lauren Turner.
Last but not least, Isaac Garvin is a member of the Performing Arts, serving as a section leader for the alto section in the marching band. After school, Isaac uses online resources to learn about computer science. Isaac, due to his love of computer science, hopes to pursue a career in machine learning and hopes to develop his own artificial intelligence one day. Isaac has chosen to honor his 5th grade teacher, Miss Slagan, because Miss Slagan encouraged Isaac to challenge himself. Isaac Garvin.
It is my distinct honor to introduce the newest members of the Stoughton High School National Honor Society. Thus concludes tonight's event. We would like to invite everyone to join us out for light refreshments, some photo opportunities, and some conversation out in the cafeteria. Thank you for coming tonight. And
we have to do the oath.
Sorry about that.
First, we have to do the oath. So
So if you could all raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I state your name.
Pledge myself to uphold.
Pledge myself to uphold.
The high purposes of the National Honor Society.
The high purposes of the National Honor Society.
To which I have been selected.
To which I have been selected.
I will be true to the principles for which it stands.
I will be true to the principles for which it stands.
I will be loyal to my school.
I will be loyal to my school.
And will maintain and encourage. High standards of scholarship, service.
High standards of scholarship and service.
Leadership and character.
Leadership and character.
So you can remain here, and if anyone wants to take pictures, they can come up now, parents.